A vagrant named John Smith arrives in the little border town of Jericho, Texas, during the Prohibition era. Smith notices Felina, a young woman, crossing the street as he gets there. A few moments later, Smith's automobile is surrounded by a gang of Irish criminals. He is warned not to stare at Doyle's property by the lead hood, which then crushes his automobile. Smith visits Sheriff Ed Galt because he is stuck and doesn't have the money to get his automobile fixed, but the cowardly Galt turns him away. Smith strolls over to the local hotel, which is owned and operated by Joe Monday, gets a room and a drink, and pulls two M1911 pistols from his suitcase. After that, he goes to the social club nearby where Doyle has his headquarters. There, he challenges the Hood to a duel, which Smith swiftly wins. Residents of Jericho are shocked when Smith leaves and returns to the hotel. Fredo Strozzi, the leader of Jericho's Italian gang, offers Smith a position in his group after learning of the killing of the Irish Hood. Strozzi is spending a lot of money to enlist everybody who can fight into his gang because he wants to destroy his competitors. After accepting his offer, Smith meets Giorgio Carmonti, a well-known Chicago mobster's son who is keeping an eye on Strozzi's actions in Jericho. Carmonti shows his instant mistrust and distaste for Smith, who departs and subsequently woos Lucy, Strozzi's mistress. Smith goes into the countryside with Strozzi and his men, where they meet Doyle's hired goon Ramirez, a dishonest lieutenant in the Mexican police force. The group ambushes Doyle's soldiers and takes control of a caravan carrying illegal imported alcohol. While Doyle and his right-hand man Hickey return to Jericho and learn of Finn's passing and the shipment's disappearance, Carmonti heads to Mexico to close further transactions with Ramirez. Smith admits Ramirez's betrayal and switches allegiance to Doyle. After crossing into Mexico, Hickey kidnaps Carmonti and murders Ramirez as well as a dishonest Border Patrol agent who is participating in the drug trade. Doyle gets in touch with Strozzi and asks for the return of his vehicles and a substantial ransom for Carmonti. Felina is then abducted by Strozzi, who then proposes to trade her. After exchanging, the two gangs head back to their own empires. Sheriff Galt captures Smith and takes him to meet with Texas Rangers Captain Tom Pickett. Smith is forewarned by Pickett that the state of Texas would not put up with Doyle and Strozzi's ongoing conflict, and Pickett has been given orders to look into the death of the Border Patrol officer. If one isn't annihilated within the week, he plans to bring in a company of Rangers in 10 days to wipe off both sides. Pickett threatens to kill Smith too if he returns 10 days later and discovers him there. When Lucy visits Smith, she tells him that Strozzi had her ear severed because she had slept with him. Smith finds her a ride out of town and offers her some money. Smith spreads a false report the following day that Strozzi is getting ready to bring in more men. He uses Doyle's fixation on Felina to his advantage by persuading him that Strozzi will attempt to abduct her once more in order to find out where Felina is being held. After Smith takes down Felina's guards, he offers her one of Doyle's automobiles so she may flee. When Doyle shows up the following day, Smith is already waiting in the safe house and says he got there too late to stop Strozzi from robbing Felina. Jack McCool, Doyle's new enforcer, accepts Smith's account, but Hickey does not. Doyle loses it all and promises to destroy Strozzi's group later on in the day. Smith's scheme is foiled when Hickey ambushes him after learning that Felina has been seen traveling towards Mexico. Doyle demands to know where Felina is, so he locks Smith up and tortures him. Smith is being severely tortured, but he won't speak. He defeats his guards later that evening and makes his getaway with Monday and Sheriff Galt. They witness Hickey and his men decimating Strozzi's group at a roadhouse as they are leaving town. When Strozzi and Carmonti attempt to give up, they are mercilessly shot to death. Felina went to a lonely church where Smith seeks sanctuary in order to pray. When Sheriff Galt shows there 2 days later, He tells Smith that Doyle will most likely torture him to death because Monday was discovered smuggling food and water into the church. Then, indicating that's all the assistance he's ready to give, he hands Smith his pistols. After killing McCool and the other members of Doyle's men, Smith leaves town and saves Monday. Doyle and Hickey have left, traveling to Mexico in a last-ditch effort to find Felina. Smith entices Doyle to come see him, and Monday uses his handgun to exact revenge on the mobster. Pretending to submit, Hickey attempts to murder Smith, but Smith outwits him and kills him with a gunshot. Following the incident, Smith heads to Mexico, his initial goal, in his freshly fixed Ford.